Good morning, good morning. I almost deleted my video from yesterday, but I'm not going to because it's just part of the process. I do not like what I did yesterday at all. At all. And I don't know how much longer I can go today because we have thunderstorms and it's 7:30 in the morning and thundering. And our electricity went out yesterday. We've had a terrible time with our electricity. But we're either begging for rain or it's pouring. Anyhow, I really do not like this at all. However, I'm not opposed to using this in a Halloween journal maybe. But as a quilt, I don't like it. So we're getting it out of here. You're out of here, buddy. But I kind of have been playing on Procreate in the middle of the night and in the middle of the morning. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? I don't feel as excited as I did in the beginning with some of these, or excited when I first got the book. But I think, and the book that I'm talking about is this book, which is a famous quilter, Anna Maria Horner, Anna Maria Perry now, and her beautiful approach to quilts, especially this one, which is the one on the cover. And it's all my colors. I love, you know, that, all of that. I love the Rex Ray possible influence on it. And so I'm like, okay, that's where you were inspired. That's where you need to go back to. And then I thought, I keep getting influenced by a quilter, Joe Cunningham. And I've always liked his quilts. I always like his approach. I always like everything. I met him when I was in England, even though he's from San Francisco. I've been to a couple shows. He's friends with the lady that I like in San Francisco so much, Margaret Fabrizio. If you've heard me talk about quilting, you may have heard those names already at other times. However, I like his. He has a very abstract, angular approach to quilting, and he's famous for it, his method in teaching it across the world. And he kind of quilts. And when I say quilting, the whole process, the top, the sandwiching of the quilt and the quilting, the hooking it all together, stitching it all together. He kind of quilts the way some artists approach work. He may take a piece of fabric, normally not commercial, but sometimes it is, and he will sew, we're just going to go for it, or he will sew two pieces together, like that, and then he chops those up. So we're going to do stuff like that, I think. And I don't know how I'm going to approach it other than to just go for it. Because I know what I did yesterday, I did not like at all. And to the point where I almost made another video. And when I say yesterday, today for you, Tuesday. So I think I'm going to put these two down and then I'm going to chop them again. And I could cut them in different sizes and not worry about the chop. But I think that's part of the process that I need to go through to get kind of out of this uninspired time. I wouldn't call it a block. Maybe it is a block and I just don't know it. But kind of get myself on the path that I want to be on with this project. Because right now, there's only a couple things that I would. And I had the most fun doing the G's Bend Inspirational Log Cabin. That's the one I had the most fun with. And that one, even though I knew what I wanted to do, I just went for it. All right, we're going to have to put this on another piece of paper. Maybe. So now, and you can't think about it. So now put it like that and add some other stuff to it. And of course, this isn't fabric. But the stuff that Joe Cunningham uses is usually hand-dyed or some other kind of, it's usually not a commercially made process of quilt fabric. Although he can teach you how to use commercially processed. It's still the same procedure. Maybe I need to add some color to this. Perhaps. The quickest and fastest drying way to approach that is with a marker. Not that color though. There needs to be some stuff that shows up. And to do this, kind of, I think, my untrained eye, I'm kind of joining all these pieces, and then they're attached to each other, and they become one. And then you cut them apart, and it has a whole different design to it. See, I already like that better. In fact, I really like it. And that's how he approaches it, I think. I have never taken in one of his classes, so I could be wrong. But I'm never wrong. That's how he approaches some of his quilts. He's cutting pieces of fabric apart, and then he's doing a design on top. But a lot of times his quilts are statements. He's done a whole series on Ukraine. And even just turning it around that much. And now reconnecting those lines. This is a lot more enjoyable. And the end result is something I like more too. Even though I'm not crazy about the color combos, it still works. I'm going to try to tape these on the back so I don't keep adding layers and layers of paper. Pretty close enough. Now, and this is me just taking the paper off of the top two piles over here. And going for it. And this is much more enjoyable to me, for me, to me, and end result for me. I like this process better. What I was trying, and maybe it's because it's not organized. Yesterday might have been too organized. Even though I appreciate a good 9-patch. But see, that shape right there, so much more fun. Even if I were to stop right there and add it to a solid background. Or even semi-solid. That to me is much more In fact, I might just do that. I did not concentrate on where I was going to put it, but now I think I'm going to kind of, maybe, I'm still not sure, add a border to this piece, maybe cut it all up again. I don't know. And see, these pieces can be used for something still, I think. I'm not going to get rid of them. I'm just going to go for it because it's just paper. Now, I like it even more. And to me, this could be used as a quilt pattern or quilt inspiration. Not necessarily a pattern, but inspiration. Even if it were to only, one quilt would be to just use this same process. And maybe another quilt use the same colors. I mean, but see how breaking those lines apart, I love that. And now, do I connect them with another color? Perhaps, maybe I should. Okay, go for it. Trying to come up with a color that's going to show up on all this muddy. There's a heart. I kind of think I want to cut it again. Or, do we just apply this to a black background? That has yellow lines in the background. And again, I am trying not to judge the size, judge the shape, judge the placement. None of that. And kind of like that. Judging the placement only to the fact that there's like something happening. So, could this be like a comic strip quilt? Pa-pow. Yes. I don't know. All I know is I get more enjoyment from this one than I did from the one yesterday. And I even though I love a good Halloween quilt. However, there was no, to me, even though I enjoyed I did enjoy the process, I have to say that. But I didn't, it just didn't spark energy, maybe. It didn't, and I don't know if that's because of the colors I chose were just generic orange and black and yellow. I don't know if it's because some of the shapes didn't really fit for where they were going. I don't know. I don't know enough to not know what I don't know on that one. But I know enough to know that this is much more enjoyable to me. And a whole lot more fun. And something that I wouldn't have a problem doing. I was practicing on Procreate, and I was taking stuff and just taking... Okay, hold on a second. I need to... Taking sections of things and not using the whole piece. So even if I were to... I just barely tacked this down, obviously. But even if I were to take this quilt inspiration and only do that part right there, I would be okay with that. Or, you know, okay, even take it a step further. One of the pieces that I cut out and do a quilt just like that. I wouldn't have a problem with that. It would be wild. It would be abstract. It would be like nothing else anybody else has ever done for obvious reasons. I don't have a problem with that. This is going in the book. I don't know what it's going to be called. One of y'all name it. See, Jenkins, you're great at naming stuff. Just because we've had so much thunder and lightning lately, stormy skies, maybe. But I might make another one. Slightly quick. I'm going to make another one and do the same process, but I'm going to, well, speed me up, people. This might be a longer video. I know. Speed me up. Let's just take some paper. Well, if you speed me up, then I'm going to talk like Mickey Mouse. No, if I speed myself up, I'll talk like Mickey Mouse. Okay, we're going to go with green and blue because there's no green and blue on that one. Ooh, but I love this one. Okay. Okay. All right, let's use circles instead of triangles. When I say circles, they don't have to be perfect. In fact, I prefer them not to be perfect. Okay, now let's glue this to, let's just glue that to this. In the end, it'll be okay because there won't be a lot of this left. Maybe. I don't know. Okay. Now, get that off of there. I'm thinking too much about it, but I like that. Okay, let's just tape this together here with construction washi. want this one to go right there. All right, that's good enough at the moment. Actually, I think I'm going to cut this. Yeah. Okay, now let's put this onto this, perhaps. Yeah. And cut some more in a second. However, I really kind of, well, I guess I can paint it again. I kind of like that paper. Now, I don't dislike that right there at all. But now we're going to draw some lines on it. Let's go with gold and see what happens. And this is all just barely tacked down. So it's kind of a little floppy at the moment. Okay, these are not perfect lines. Oops, there's some more electricity. I mean, lightning. Okay, this one's going to be called Lightning Strikes because it's gold. And you may not be able to see the jaggedness of the lightning strikes until it's all done. Who knows? But this is kind of like the fun of a jelly plate. You don't know what you're going to get because you're not structuring it. You're trying not to think, theoretically. All right, let's do another line right here. And then cut it again. Maybe put it on top of this and see what happens. And the beauty of not knowing the colored wheel or even though I kind of do know it anymore, what goes with what is part of the charm of it. Dare I say charm? All right, where did you come from? Okay. And really, this is kind of like some quilts. You're cutting it into fours. You're sewing pieces of fabric together, and then you cut them apart again. And it's not unlike stuff I've already done 100 other times with paper. I'm just using it as another purpose. Oh, now see. I love that. Oh! Okay, let's just not even move all this. Some people are going to think I'm wackadoodle. Some people might be right. All I know is this is much more exciting to me and has potential than the Halloween one. And I can't believe I'm saying that about Halloween, anything, but I am. And it's okay. Oh, that's even better. Oh, that's even better. Because now it dances across this paper in a much more favorable way. Okay, we're going to glue this down to this paper. I know these are not the right colors. I know. But sometimes I don't want to be playing with all the right rules. I think you have to go for it. You do have to go for it to not a rut, because I would not say it's a rut. I was having some unexciting moments. That's what it was. That's a good way to say it. They were just unexciting at the current moment. And this is exciting. That's super exciting. To me. Do you have to keep it within the confines of this? Maybe not. But I am today. And I think I'm going to put some more gold on here. This is actually more brass than gold, but that's okay too. And now I might try to reconnect all the brass. Oh, there you can you see those lines now? A little bit. I'm going to try to reconnect the lines. And these are patterns that I could not have come up with myself. Unless I did something to the, like this. Maybe I shouldn't connect them in the most obvious places. But I am for right now. And this, if you were to quilt it, to turn it into fabric or turn it into a quilt, this could all be gold thread and just lines on top. All right, I think I'm going to go this way with this line. So if you started over here, you would go here, then you would come back up here. This is GPS coordinates. This is how I drove to Missouri last year. Because I went on back roads the whole way. Oops, here's another one that needs to be connected. And I drove way longer hours than I should have if I were driving on interstates. But I didn't want to drive on interstates. And I went through some farm country, and it was longer, and I was ready to get home by Mississippi last year on the way home, but I still enjoyed it overall. Now that I'm done with it, I still enjoyed it, and contemplating to the point where I might drive again next year. Okay, that line goes nowhere. But this is kind of how I got to Missouri from South Carolina last year. And you must drive with those sound effects too. Oh, the husband's getting in the shower. He's going early because he's getting a haircut. And the dog's going to get set off. Okay, I'm purposely... There's a quilt show in California called The Road to California. This is The Road to Missouri. That's what this one's called, The Road to Missouri. You start in South Carolina, which is actually, let's see. My map was upside down. South Carolina is down here. And I went and got to Missouri up here. Oh my God. I love this. This does not go together. But once you start connecting stuff and putting stuff down, I think it does. Does it need black? I wonder if like the intersections I can put little black circles. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I don't know. Ooh. Now it's the haunted road to California. It looks like people are watching me. It kind of looks like there isn't a line here, but I'm going to put one here. This kind of looks like, I love this. Kind of looks like nail heads. An abstract piece of furniture. The side wall of something, some wackadoodle ladies' cabinet. Ooh, we can decorate. We're going to be furniture designers now. This is so much better. So much better. Sorry, Halloween quilt. You just were not doing it for me. This, so much better. All right, this is the road to Missouri. Again, does it fit in here? Probably not. Yikes. Okay. We're going to write this down on a piece of paper, though. Road to Missouri. Or just, how about the long way? The long way. I can't put the long way around because that's Ewan McGregor's motorcycle journeys. I think he has a little bit more power and money for attorneys than I do. The long way around. This is the long way. I love that. And this one, I'm going to let C. Jenkins label this one. Totally different. Totally different. Well, broken, shattered pieces. Shattered ice. Maybe I'm not going to let you. You'll name tomorrow's, okay? C. Jenkins. Shattered pieces. Shattered magic. Because it's magic to me. Because you don't know. Like a jelly plate, you don't know how it's going to turn out. You got to be brave. Shattered magic. Okay, I love that. Tomorrow, I'm going to do another one like this. And C. Jenkins, put on your thinking cap. Although your thinking cap's pretty big. Way bigger than mine. And you name tomorrow's. But we're going to do something like this again tomorrow. That works. Is this the right book? This is not the right book. Where's my quilt book? I put it in the wrong book. Here it is. Okay. See, that was enjoyable. I'm going to put the Halloween one in here. This was immensely enjoyable. I think I'll put the Halloween one in here as a way to not do it this time. Not possibly forever, but this time. Shattered magic. See, that's pretty too. That looks like a Japanese. No? Japanese quilters are amazing. The long way. Love it. Love it. Much better. I'm leaving my little craft area for the time being in a much better frame of mind. And that is part of the magic. I'm going to put all these little scraps. Oh, just when I get this thing under control, they come back. And maybe the trick is to try to do something like this with Halloween colors. Maybe. Since I'm in a Halloween frame of mind. All right, that can go. Sorry about my squeaky chair. Or use this paper tomorrow. That's an idea. That's an idea. Put it in the scrap bin. Or you know, oh gosh. Oh. You know how people have jars that have like all kinds of instructions? Use black. Paint something blue. Cut a square. Or do mixed media today, or do this, and they pick out like their prompts. Take some scraps, throw them up in the air, and pick out 7, and then make that into something. Okay, that's another way to do it. Let the randomness of all of it work to your advantage. Okay, see? Going outside of what I did yesterday, going outside the boundaries of something, unfreeze you up and freeze up your imagination. Profound words from a crazy woman. I'm picking up the scraps off the floor because now I might use all of them. Okay, I think that's, oops, there's some more thunder. I think that's exactly what I needed. Exactly. So thank you. Thank you for putting up with yesterday's video. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. And maybe tomorrow's is even better. Who knows? Maybe I found my, I wouldn't say mojo because I don't think I lost my mojo. But I found something that works. I got inspired. Again, even though I wasn't far from inspiration, but I got control of it sliding backwards. That's how I can say that. Because I felt like yesterday I had really slid, not off my rocker, although most people would say I already have done that too. I think I just, and this is me not knowing anything about anything, but I do know that I didn't, and I enjoyed the process, but I didn't like the end result. Enjoyed the process, loved the end result. Same thing. Enjoyed the process and loved the end result. Whew. Okay. Thanks for watching. See you all tomorrow. Bye.